What's goody to any and everybody who may be listening? Okay. Now, I got to go ahead and get into Morris again, but we're going to be talking about Morris and T and just that whole, neighborhood sort of again, but we're going to be stay focused around T and Morris mostly. Okay? Like I said, I used to be in the in crowd, of course, but not in a way that you would think I would, because they was plotting against me. They were all within these secret societies. They all needed each other to go against the one. Okay? I want to talk about what solidified the closeness between myself and Morris. This is what solidified the closeness between him. Because again, I felt closer to Morris. There was just a feeling. I felt that closeness to him. Okay? And so when I met T, and again, at this time, I was trying to be the boy. I was trying to be a boy, even though it was breaking. It was I could barely be the boy, but I was trying to be the boy. Okay. And it took a while for me really to integrate that boyness into my femininity. But so I moved to this neighborhood. Eventually, I get into the groove, and of course, the popular boys wants to be around me or whatever. And so I start first it was me and T, but there was something about T that I noticed right off of the bat. And I gotta go ahead and talk about this too before I even get into that. So there's something about T where I could not be around him for any length amount of time too long without him starting to get on my nerves. It's like he was an energy vampire, but he took it to the next level by, it's like he would just do things that would just piss me off. And he would do it on purpose too. This was done purposely. And again, I couldn't be around him for any length of my time. Shit, once it got to about 2 hours, it's like, bitch, you got to go. Or I got to go. I can't be around you no more. I felt drained. He would drain me. He would literally be draining me. That's how much of an energy vampire T was. Okay? So anyway, I got to tell you about this plot. Now, it's going... look, the plot. When I first moved around there, this individual tried to pull me into what he had done on his own, broke into his own house. Okay, now this was before I ever broke into anybody's house, mind you. This is before I ever touched any amount of cocaine. I was really innocent here, okay, but he pulled me into that whole thing where he had got this weed. He broke into his own house. This is what happened. He broke into his own house. Now, his brother Chris was selling weed at that time. Now, the weed was some garbage. I gotta admit that the weed was some motherfucking garbage. That the weed was some motherfucking rat poison is what that weed was. But he broke into his own house. And then the individual came down my house. I was new out there, probably 3-4 days, or maybe up to a week. I had been in that neighborhood for about a week. And he came down to my house with the weed, with the weed. I got to tell you now, he gave me some of the weed. He gave me like an ounce or maybe even 2 ounces. Okay. I gotta tell you, I was so close. I was getting so close to Morris. I was already falling for Morris. It was instant, because at that time, now Morris was fine. At that time, he was fine, but he lost it, child. Over the years, he lost it. That hairline got to receding and pushing all the way back. But at first he had long hair, and that hair won't recede. That line won't receding. And he was fine at first. Now, at first, but he lost it again. So I was falling for Morris already before that even happened. So this is what gave me the inclination to even do what I did. which was because I felt that closeness. I had felt that bond with Morris more so than I had with T. Okay, and I was like, and once I figured out that he had did that, I was like, oh no, because in the following days, that's when it had came out that this is what had happened. So I'm in possession of this weed, and I'm like, oh my God, I know he did not do that. I know he didn't do that. Me being me, bitch, I couldn't just let that happen. So I sure did, and I gave the weed back because I didn't have shit to do with it at all. Now let's go ahead and do our decrees and declarations surrounding this, because I decree and declare that any of my soul fragments, light sparks, and energy that got caught up in that bullshit with T being a thief and stealing from his own motherfucking brother without any need or reason to, be released, freed, and brought back home to the mother, the father, and the child. Anyway, I knew that they knew I was telling the truth because number one, it was set up anyway, but number two is because of how genuine I am. Anyway, so this was very important for me to speak about this shit with T that he had to know to do, taking that damn all his brother weed like that, and then giving it to somebody else. Now this does not compare in any way, shape, form, or fashion to what I did to that bitch Danielle. She deserved it. This in no way is in no comparison, bitch. I took that bitch chain and I pawned it, and I got my drugs for it. Okay, now I'm going to be getting into more about some of that stuff too, because I'm making some connections. There's some dots that are starting to connect. But for now, bye bye.